So that also comes into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein, so that's what I have just a basic understanding about this.
Hmm. Okay. So you know, right, what's Active Directory, what's virtual
Yes,
machine, basic
yes,
fundamentals of networking, that those all are the prerequisites for this AZ-104 course. Okay, so my name is Sanmeet Singh. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I have certifications in many courses like AZ-104, 900, 500, and 305. I have got PL 300 and 204 as well. So I've got a lot of certifications in hand. I transitioned my journey to this role. Before this, I was working as a technical solution specialist. So now I'm a full-time trainer. Okay. So what to expect from this course? The very first thing, right? What to expect? Azure Administrator. So for this, I'd like to share my screen with you guys. Just a moment, and I'll quickly give you an introduction of this course. Hope my screen is visible to all of you.
yes.
That's great.
So is this the basic you're talking about? Like, is it the basic one you're start like the Azure one?
No, no, no. The basic one is AZ-900. That's fundamental exam. This one
Oh,
is,
okay.
I'll tell you. See, whenever we talk about Microsoft exams, right? Be it
Correct.
AZ-104, 500, 305, there are three levels of exam. As you can see here, level is intermediate. So most of the exams which have the course code as AZ-900, AI-900, SC-900, like those exams, these are the beginner level exams, or which you can call it as fundamental level exams, very basics. Then we step one ahead, and then we have intermediate or associate level exams. See, it's an intermediate level exam. Product is Azure. Then after that, like AZ-500, AZ-104, PL-300, all these are intermediate or associate level exams, the middle ground. Then we have expert level exams, like we have AZ-305, which is security expert, Azure Architect Expert. That's an expert level exam. We have cyber security architect, SC100. That's again an expert level exam. So these are the three levels of exams you would usually see in Microsoft examinations. And AZ-104, as you can see, it's an intermediate. The role that you will get after you clear the certification, you will become an Azure administrator. Okay. So what all things you need to have knowledge about? See, as a candidate for the certification, you should have subject matter expertise in implementing, managing, and monitoring an organization's Azure environment, including what is a VNet, what's storage, what's compute like virtual machines, what's identity, security, governance. So these are some of the prerequisites. Like you should be familiar with operating systems. What is an operating system? What's networking basic fundamentals? What are servers? What's virtualization? The concept, right? And you should also have some level of experience with PowerShell. What's PowerShell? What's Azure command line interface? All these things. And this is your whole course here. Okay, so every module of it, you have it here. So in this course, we have total of 11 modules that we are going to see. So I'll just share this link with you. The first thing, the introduction of the
So
course.
if you don't have the, like, for example, I have not even I've not even done the Easy 500. So if you
Hmm.
don't have the basic understanding of then is it going to be difficult to understand this? Is that
No, no, absolutely not.
900?
See, Sangeeta, see, we are here to make this training an interactive and an engaging one. So it doesn't matter if you haven't done AZ-900, don't worry about it. I'm here to start from very scratch. I'll use layman terms like basic analogies that will help you to understand each and every concept in depth. So yeah, we are also we are not just going to talk about these things like these services. I'll also show you practical demonstrations. I'll use my own Azure portal for which I pay usually. So I'll be using that subscription to showcase you guys everything that we'll discuss in the module. So yeah, that's how this is going to be. Okay. And guys, whenever I ask you any questions in the meeting, see, the only even like if you want to learn something, you need to ask questions. So whenever I ask you any question in the meeting, like did you get the concept, or do you have any questions, anything, like I asked you guys, like do you have any easy Azure certifications? You said no. So like that, you will have to always respond to me, because then we'll create a great learning curve here. Otherwise, we are just discussing stuff, and we are not getting into anything. So it's always about answering things. Ask questions, answer things. If I ask you, did you get the concept? you don't want to speak up, that's completely fine. If you're not comfortable opening up your mic, then simply just you have reactions button in the meeting. If you see that, you have reaction, so I can send this thumbs up like that, right? So whenever I ask you questions, so you can just send me a thumbs up if you're not comfortable opening up your mic. With that, we are done with the introduction of the course. I said that there are 11 modules in total that you'll see here as well. We are going to talk about identity, access, what is governance. Then we'll talk about virtual networks. What are virtual networks? What's inter-site connectivity? What are the traffic load balancers? Then what's storage service on Microsoft Azure? Then we are going to talk about compute. What are the compute resources like virtual machines, app services, containerization? All these concepts we'll discuss. And lastly, we'll discuss BCDR, how to monitor and backup Azure resources. So, any questions from the introduction of the course, guys?
So we'll have the recordings also, right? Like if you want to
Yes.
see the,
Yes.
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Firoz, any questions from your side? If no, then again, just give me a thumbs up so that we can start with the first module. I guess. See again, guys. As I said earlier, you need to participate in this meeting. As Sangeeta is, answering the questions, and maybe she is also asking questions. That's great. That's how we learn. So no worries. I guess it will take some time for people to get comfortable. That's perfectly fine. So let me give share my screen again. Just a moment. All right. What do you guys know about Active Directory?
So in Active Directory, basically it's like user account creation comes into the picture, wherein you can create the user, you can modify, you can delete, then
Hmm.
you can add, the groups to the domain administrators. You can,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's be more about like, access related thing wherein the Active Directory comes into the picture.
Hmm.
So because
Okay.
that's what
That's
I have worked in Active Directory in an initial start of my career. So yeah.
okay. That's great. That's wonderful. So you know, right? What's an Active Directory? Active Directory is an identity and access management solution. Like it's basically your, how can I say that? Like it's a book in your company that has every information of all the user, devices, applications, and all these things, right? It's an identity and access management solution. Now, if I ask you, you know, what's an identity? What do you think is an identity? Identity can be any object that can authenticate itself. That's an identity. Okay. It can be a user, it can be a group, it can be a device. Devices can also authenticate itself, and it can be any application. Now, before I move into the concept of Azure Active Directory, okay, there are two things, guys. Whenever I talk about Azure Active Directory, the name here is Entra ID. We don't call it as Azure Active Directory now. Previously, it was called as AAD, Azure Active Directory, but now it has been renamed to Entra ID. Okay, that's about Microsoft Azure. Okay, just a moment. So there are two things. If you want to host your, Entra ID, just a second, just allow me a moment. Now we're good. So whenever we want to host an Active Directory solution, if I talk about on-premise, what do you have to get? First, you have to procure a Windows Server license, right? Let's say it's Windows Server 2022, maybe, right? On that, you install a role which is called as ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services, and then finally, this machine acts as DC, domain controller. Am I right? That's the concept. So Active Directory is like an address book for your company. It has all the information of your users, groups, devices, applications, like who can do what. And have you guys seen how an Active Directory looks like? The console.
Yes.
Okay, what does it? What does it looks like?
So it's like two, there's a two icons wherein, the user
Hmm.
icon is there. So that
Hmm.
is basically the, yeah.
Yeah. So if I have to show you as well, just a moment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
can you just repeat me this? What is did you, because I think I missed the, this thing, the DCI, the initial one you were telling about.
DCI, it's not DCI, it's just DC. Let me remove the one
Sure.
part. DC is basically domain controller. Means when you
Oh,
install this ADDS role on this server, it start acting as a domain controller. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. As you can see, so if I go to images, you will
Yeah.
see Active Directory looks something like this. Am I right? There is a forest. That forest is basically your domain name, right? The company
Yeah.
name, which is let's say Contoso maybe. In that you have your computers, users. Okay, this screenshot is not visible properly. Now it's see. So here we have got a forest, as you can see, demojumpcloud.com. In that forest, you have computers, domain controllers, you have got users, groups, devices, applications, and you've got permissions. There are GPUs, there are OUs, organizational units. So it is like a tree-like structure, right? It's having a tree-like structure. It's branches, hierarchical structure, we call it, right? So in Active Directory, and whenever I say Active Directory, always remember I'm talking about on-prem AD. And when I say Enter ID, then I'm talking about this. This your Azure Active Directory. So first we have to understand the differences. Why do we have Enter ID? Why is there the need to come to Enter ID? First thing. So I told you that to host an AD on-prem, you need to procure a server. Then on that you will install an ADDS role, and finally it will become a domain controller. Now let's understand this concept of AD with an example. Let's say you are an employee and this is your office. Your company name is, let's say, HCL. Okay. And this is the front security desk. So what happens, guys, when let's say there is a security guard here? Once you go to your office building in the morning, what happens? The security guard asks you to verify yourself, right? Who you are.
Correct.
And how do you do that usually?
Swipe in the card, like, show your
Card.
access card basically.
Exactly, an access card. So the access card is like, let's say there is your access card. What information it has? It has your name, your email ID, maybe your employee code, right? Your designation, like what's your job profile? Let's say you are an IT admin. Am I right? So this guard is following three A's of, enter ID. So we'll talk about it. And let's say in this building you have got three floors. One is the IT floor, second one is the finance floor, third one is the HR floor. What do you think, guys? According to your rule, which floor would you have access to? Like the security guard will allow you access to which of these floors?
IT floor.
Exactly. Would will he give you access to the HR or finance floor as well?
No.
No, right? Why? Because that's not part of your job. It can be security issue, security problem would be there. So that's the reason. Security guard is following three A's of Enter ID. First A is authentication. Second A is authorization. Authentication basically is asking someone, who are you? And how did you answer that? By showing your ID card. Then comes authorization. Now, what's authorization? Authorization is asking someone what level of access you have. So, in our case, What level of access did we have? We had to the IT floor because we were an IT admin. The third A of Entra ID is accounting or maybe auditing. It's for accounting or auditing, like keeping a track of what this employee is doing in the organization, like activity logs, sign-in logs. That's accounting. So Entra ID serves these three purposes, three A's. Okay, with be it Entra ID, be it Active Directory, these are the three purposes. Now I just talked about Active Directory on-prem, which is ADDS. The same thing we can host on Azure, and that we call it as Entra ID. As I said previously, we called it Azure Active Directory, but now it has been renamed to Entra ID. So Entra ID has these three scopes as well: authentication, authorization, and accounting. Those are the three duties of Entra ID. All right. Now, the question is, there are some differences between ADDS and Entra ID. I told you that to host an on-prem AD, you need a server. You need to procure a server first, and on that you will install the role, right? But that's not the case with Entra ID. In Entra ID, you don't need to manage a server. It eliminates the need to manage a separate server for this. So Entra ID is a web-based, product. You can access it via the web. I'll show you that as well through Azure portal. You can manage every aspect of your users, groups, permissions, everything from the single Azure portal. That's Entra ID. It's an identity and access management solution, or we often call it as identity as a service. Why? Because it's provided to us as a service. We are not managing any Windows servers, any underlying infrastructure. That's what Entra ID is all about. So, do you guys understand the concept? What's Entra ID? Again, you can just give me a thumbs up in the meeting if you are not comfortable opening up your mic. Any questions, guys? Like, hope you got the concept of Entra ID.
So moreover, it is like all the triple A's come into the picture, right? Like
Yes.
authentic.
Yes. It's an identity solution. Identity as a service. What is an identity? Identity can be any object that can authenticate itself. How do we authenticate ourselves to, let's say, any HR portal? We use our username and password, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
what are we? We are an identity. It can be a
Identity.
user or a group. It can be a device. Device can authenticate itself, right? It has PIN biometrics. Am I right? Device
Hmm.
can also authenticate itself. Then there is applications. Applications also authenticate themselves. Let's say if an application wants to talk to another database, it will authenticate itself, right? That I am the correct application you're looking for, right? So that's identity. Now, when we talk about users and groups, there are three types of users. One are cloud members. We often call them members or cloud members. It means the identities that were created on Azure Entra ID only. They are not coming from on-prem, or they are not coming from any other cloud. It was created itself in the cloud in Entra ID. The second type of identity is guest, or which we call it as external identity. Do you know what's guest identity or external identity? Identities to which you haven't given all the permissions, all the set of permissions, to whom you have just invited them into your organization. Like in the day-to-day world, what happens is often these companies, they partnership with other vendors, partners, and suppliers, right, for a project, let's say. So will you create these new suppliers or vendors? Will you treat them as an employee in your organization? No, right? You need to treat them as a guest so that they can have guest level privileges for your for your resources. They can use your resources, but to an extent, not every part of it. That is what you mean having a guest or an external identity. The third one is Hybrid identity. What's a hybrid identity? An identity that's present on premise AD as well, and it's present on intra AD as well. That is called as a hybrid identity. That's present on two different platforms. All right. So with that, we understand the concept of intra ID. What's identity? Let's talk about some of the features of intra ID. We can configure access to applications including single sign-on. Do you know what's single sign-on, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
Hmm. Okay, what is it?
So it's basically the single sign-on authentication. It
Hmm.
comes into the picture.
Exactly. Means having a single set of credentials. So let's
Correct.
say if your company has
I
multiple.
I think single sign-on is now available. I think it's stopped. I think it's going for Windows Hello policy. Is it?
Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. Okay. So what is single sign-on? It's all about having single set of credentials. So let's say your company has different portals. There is an HR portal, there is a developer portal, there is an attendance portal, and like all of the portals. Will you have different credentials for each of these applications? No, right? Let's say I'm an employee of an HCL, let's say. So I'll simply have one username, which will be, let's say, it's meet at hcl.com. And then I'll have a password as well. Let's say it is meet at 123. So these single set of credentials is enough for me to access any of these portals. Am I right?
Yeah.
I don't have to authenticate myself again and again repeatedly. That's what we call it as single sign-on, having a single set of credentials. Okay. So using this Entra ID, we can manage and provision the users and groups that we'll see in the coming slides. And I'll also take you to Azure portal for this. What's federation? What do you think is federation? See, federation is a trust relationship that is built around two companies. When you sign into your any of your let's say your company's resources, it takes you back to the authentication page of your company. Does it happen, right? It asks for your username and password for HCL. Let's say if you're an employee of an HCL, you're trying to log in into Canva. Let's say Canva is a website. So it will take you back to authenticate yourself using your own HCL credentials. So that's federation. It's a trust relationship that's built around these two different companies. Okay, you might have seen. Let's say you are trying to access Canva. When you open the website the first time, it asks you, how do you want to sign in? Do you want to register using your Gmail ID, your Apple ID account, Microsoft account, Facebook account? It happens, right? So what are these all options? These are different identity providers. And how is it possible? Due to federation. Am I right, guys? So that's federation. Then we need to implement security features like MFA. What's MFA, you would ask?
Multi-factor. Yeah. It's
Hmm,
like two-way authentication, wherein
exactly. Means not relying on single step of authentication. So let's say I told you that you will be having a single username and a password. So it would be, let's say, sun@hcl.com. The password is sun@123. This is the first step of authentication. Whenever I enter any, try to enter into any website, this would be the first step. I want to have a second step of authentication, which can be OTP sent via mobile, OTP sent via email, maybe a phone call, or a security question. Right? You must have seen, like often we get these asked these questions like which city you were born, what was the color of your first car, like that. So we have got security questions, or ultimately we have got authenticator app from where we have to approve that notification, right? So what is this? This is second layer of authentication, and people often call it as two-step verification, multi-factor authentication, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And as an Azure administrator, we can manage which method we want to throw to our user, how the user needs to identify himself. All right. And what's conditional access? Simple. The answer is already in the term as well. Giving someone access based on a certain condition. Let's say the user is logging in from India. I say allow him in. Allow him to view the website. The user is trying to log in from US. I say no. I don't want to allow that user to access my resource. So what is that? Condition. If and then condition. If this, then this happens. That's conditional access. So we can set up all these settings in our Entra ID as an Azure administrator. Now the question is, most of the companies are using or relying on the on-prem AD only, right? But now they're thinking of moving to the cloud. So let's say if a company has 1,000 users, would it be easier, would it be easy to migrate to Microsoft Azure from on-prem AD? What do you think?
Yes.
It would be a headache, right? You'll have to manage their, these users, their passwords, sync their permissions, devices, applications, their scopes. A lot of headache. So is there any easy way? The easy way of doing this is using Entra Connect tool. Microsoft Entra Connect. This is a tool that you can use to automate this process, to sync your users, groups, passwords, SIDs to Microsoft Entra ID. That's the tool. So I'll share this link with you. There is a Microsoft documentation for Entra Connect. Just allow me a moment. You can go through this at a later stage. What's Entra Connect exactly? You'll understand this. So I've sent the documentation in the chat. Please go through it after the session. So that's Entra Connect. It's a small piece of software that gets installed on the on-prem AD, on-prem server, so that you can migrate your users, sync your passwords, everything from on-prem AD to Microsoft Azure Entra ID.
Okay.
So what are the
This
concepts?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, this intra-connect will be working on every day or in between time gap, in between every 10 minutes, 3 minutes, like that. If, for example, if you add one new user in between after 1,000 users, we added just now, so it will be sync. How it will
Yeah,
be
it will
sync
be in continuation. It will be in sync.
within seconds, or we put in any time gap in between this.
Well, that depends upon the network connectivity, the bandwidth, but it doesn't take a lot of time. It's
It
usually in
will not
minutes.
affect your live environment, is it?
Yeah, live migration.
Okay.
Okay. So
Would we be doing the practical things or like,
yes, exactly. Like not there's Entra Connect tool. That's a different thing because I don't have any on-prem AD with me as of now. But yes, I'll show you how to create these users and after this. First,
okay,
let first let's discuss the basic concepts. So what have we learned about? What is an identity? Any object that can be authenticated. It can be a user, group, device, application. What is an account? An identity that has data associated with it. Like this, sun@hcl.com. This is my account, right? We have member account, cloud member, which we call it as Entra ID account, which is what is member cloud member? Identity created through Entra ID. Now in Entra ID, we don't have the concept of forest. Like we saw in the example of AD on-prem AD, there was a forest, then we had OUs, then we have like a tree-like structure. That is not the case in Entra ID. In Entra ID, we don't have forest, we have tenants, or what we call it as directory, which is a dedicated and trusted instance. Means this contoso.com, there is a tenant. Fabricum.com, again, it's a tenant. Okay, tenant or directory, whatever you want to call it. So any tenant or directory is nothing but a single organization, which represents a single organization. Then finally, we have the Azure subscription, using which we pay for our cloud services. If we are using virtual machines, load balancers, storage accounts, how do we pay for this? Using this subscription. So this subscription acts as the billing boundary. security, and the billing boundary of our Azure environment. Right. So these are some of the concepts of Entra-ID. How is it different from the on-prem AD? We have discussed about this. Entra-ID is primarily an identity solution. It is queried using HTTP and HTTPS, means it's a web-based protocol. It uses these protocols such as SAML, WS Federation, and yeah, to authenticate this user, you know, the the on-prem AD uses Kerberos, LDAP. You might have heard about it. These are older authentication protocols. You can learn about it on the web. But this Entra ID uses OpenID Connect for authentication and OAuth for authorization. These are like protocols. What's the technology behind that authentication? So for authentication, it uses OIDC, OpenID Connect, and for authorization, it uses the protocol which is OAuth, and it includes federation services and many third-party services. I can log into Azure portal using my Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail account, Microsoft account, Apple, Facebook, anything. And as you can see, Microsoft Entra ID users and groups are created in a flat structure, and there are no organizational units or group policy objects. Nope. Now with that, let me take you to Azure portal, and yeah, I'll show you what's user. But before that, yeah. So we have three licensing plans in Entra ID: free, P1, and P2. This one is for those users who don't want to have these features. They just want to use these set of features. For them, we have got this Entra Suite plan. Otherwise, there are three plans usually. With free, you get unlimited single sign-on, MFA, all these things. With P1, you get automated user and group provisioning. I'll talk about it. What's it? You get conditional access. And with the P2 plan, you have something called as PIM, Privileged Identity Management. This is a great feature. What is it about? Let's say you want to make someone an admin in your organization. Okay, for let's say VM admin. You want someone to manage your VMs for you, but you want that to be for 2 hours only. You want to give that role for 2 hours. Is it possible if you are using free or P1 license? I say no. For that, you need to give him a privileged role. That's what privileged identity management is all about. It's about two things. First thing, just in time access, giving someone JIT access. JIT means, as I said, I want to make him admin for only 4 hours. That's JIT. Second thing is just enough access. Means just the access that the person needs. Nothing more than that. All right. So
So
that's privileged identity management.
sim- similar, is it?
I'm sorry, your voice is
Conditional access and PIM access is not similar. Both are different.
conditional access and PIM.
PIM.
These are different. No, two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'll just show you some Azure portal, how the Azure Entra ID looks like. Just allow me a moment. Please let me know if my Chrome window is visible to you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. So see, this is the Azure portal. Here, if I click on more services, so you will have a look at all the services that are there inside this Azure portal. We have AI and machine learning services, analytics related services, compute resources, containers, databases, right? Let's see what's Entra ID. How does it look like? Are you able to see any tree-like structure here? Is there any forest or something?
No.
Is it? It's different from on-prem AD, right? Interface.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why we call
Yeah.
it as this Entra ID follows a flat namespace structure. It doesn't have a tree-like structure or a hierarchical structure. It has users. We can create users from here. We'll talk about it. What are the types of users? Remember I told you two types of users are there. Cloud member and guest account, and a hybrid one as well. So let's say I'll just quickly delete these. So click on add a new user, and from here you can create a new user. So the new user would be, let's say, Alex. The name would be Alex here as well. I want to give him a password, so it will be admin at 12345. Okay, it's common. So I'll use a different one. Let's say I'll use student at 12345. Still no. Now I hope it's great. Okay, done. Next, what are the
Yeah.
properties of this user? The attributes: his first name, last name, job title. Let's say he's an IT admin. So IT admin. Then his usage location. So all these are, this is like not mandatory to fill up. This is based upon you. If you want to set up any properties, is this user a part of any group, or do you want to give him a role? So we'll talk about it on a later stage. And finally, we click on create. Now, as you can see, if I refresh, the user is here. Alex, user type is a member. What is a member? A member is an identity that was created itself in the Entra ID. Okay. And here, if you see, if I go back, see, this is the default directory. This is my tenant name. Like suppose that is HCL, hcl.com, contoso.com, fabricum.com, anything, your company domain. This is the default directory. This gets automatically created when you get an Azure subscription. All right. So that's there. And here I'm using Entra ID free license. The primary domain for me is this. So whenever I'll create a user, let's say if I go back to users, see, what's the user principal name? Alex @ my primary domain name. See that? If I go to Alex, you want to see his properties. Go to his properties and you can see all these details. You can modify it, you can reset his password. That's what an admin does, right? What are the sign rules for this user? Where did he try to sign in? Was it successful or not? What devices can he use? What is the license that has been given to him? And yeah, one more thing, guys. Always remember, we procure per license, per user, per month. So if you have 100 users in your organization, you need to procure at least 100 licenses, Entra ID licenses, free P1 and P2. That depends which license you're using. That's a different thing. But yes, you need to procure at least one license for every user. And if you click on manage tenants, you can see all your other tenants, contoso.com, fabricum, default directory. Some companies have child companies as well. Let's say there's a parent company which is contoso.com, and it has a child company which is fabricum.com. But those both will be treated as independent tenants or independent directories, independent organizations. Okay, so this is my tenant, default directory. So hope that's good with you guys. Hope you understood whatever we have discussed here. Any questions
Yeah.
so far? No? Okay, we just saw how to create a user. Now the
Yeah.
second thing is how to invite a user. The second type of user, remember guys, what was it?
Guest user?
Yes.
Yes. So how we can invite someone? For that you need to invite this, use the second option. You need to
Okay.
set use his email ID. So let's say for me it is abc@gmail.com, or not abc, let's say it's this, and the display name would be Bruce. That's his name. Do you want him to receive a message, an invitation message? I want to say, hello, I am inviting you to join my organization. Simple. Again, they want to set him any properties, job title, like all these things, additional properties. Want to add him into a group, add any role to him? As of now, no. So just simply click on review and create. Sorry, invite. The moment I
For
hit
external user also need license.
yes, for guest one as well.
Can you just show me where did you go there in the console? Where did you go to that guest? Okay, new
Here,
user. Okay,
here,
invite.
invite.
Okay.
And if I
And
refresh this, you will see the difference. Alex was a member, Bruce is a guest, right? He's having his own user principal name. Can you see that? Is it coming from on-prem? No. If it was coming from on-prem, then we would call it as a hybrid identity. Creation type is invitation. Now there is another question. What if I delete any of this user? Let's say I delete these users. Where do these users go? Are they gone permanently? The answer is no. You will find them in deleted users list. So they'll stay here for the next 30 days after they are deleted. And if you do not restore these users within those 30 days, they will permanently be deleted then. So I can just click here and I can restore the users or I can delete them permanently. Those are the both type of users we often see in Azure Entra ID.
So for instance, for example, like whenever we, invite a meeting or anything, at that time we create a guest account or something. So is it
Yes.
the same way? Like, is it like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It's like that. You are inviting someone to use your internal resources. Let's say a
Mm.
very basic example would give you. Let's say there is a company HCL. HCL partners up with Infosys. Now HCL has partnered up for a project, a development project. There's an application they are developing it from Infosys. Now HCL wants to see that application, right? But that is an Infosys tenant. How can they do that? They can create guest accounts, right? They can ask Infosys to create guest accounts for HCL, and once they do that, they will be able to access that application. But the level of access, the permissions, the scope, everything will be handled by Infosys because they are the ones who are who are inviting these guests. Understandable?
Yes.
So that's your Azure Entra ID. Here we follow the flat namespace structure as we saw in the in the portal. How to manage these users? What are the different types of groups that we'll discuss from tomorrow, I guess. So as of now, for the first day, let's keep it short for now. How was the session, guys?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would request you if you can, please do it around 9 o'clock, 9 to 10, because
Yeah, absolutely. We're connecting on 9 to 10 from tomorrow, I guess.
okay,
Tomorrow onwards
okay,
9 to 10, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Now see, talking about the duration of the course. So guys,
Hmm.
although this course is for 4 days, but as we are having a customized batch, as you guys are new to this course, so this is a
Hmm.
customized session. So we'll take it accordingly. Okay, we'll just complete the modules. I don't think it's going to take more than 3 weeks. Okay, to be very honest. So if we connect daily, so it's not going to take more than that. I'll show you the practical demonstration. Will help you out with the content, everything. So I've given you the course modules as well. You can go through it to see the syllabus of the course. So that's there. And hope you have liked this training as you are saying. So I guess that's it for
So
today.
can you tell me like what is the like as we've enrolled it, so like what is the job prospects like do you like in this like clouds? So in cloud security, for example,
Hmm.
all these things come what all comes into this? The Azure comes into, or even the AWS comes into the picture, because I don't have much idea about this cloud part. So if you can give me a brief about it, like if you much
Absolutely.
more.
See, there are a lot of cloud. What do you say? Like cloud service providers nowadays. There is
Hmm.
AWS, Azure, there's
Hmm.
GCP. See, the concepts are basically the same, like the foundation.
Hmm.
Everywhere you'll see virtual machine. In AWS, we call it EC2 instance. In GCP, we
Hmm.
call it
Hmm.
something else. In Azure, we call it a VM. So concepts are same. It's just that they have different features. They have different set of interface GUI. So that's the main difference. But here we are learning about Microsoft Azure. So you can like take jobs of Microsoft Azure. Like you can become an Azure administrator, cloud security engineer, cloud consultant, technical solution specialist, or maybe an architect, right? So like that.
So these cloud security architects and all comes under this Azure Sentinel, this Microsoft Azure. You're
Yes.
saying this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. See,
okay.
Microsoft has two product families. One is Azure family, another one is M365 products. Like you're talking about Defender, you're talking about Sentinel, Defender
Hmm.
for cloud apps, Defender XDR, then you have Purview. These are Microsoft M365 product family, like SharePoint sites, Teams, right? Whereas Azure is a different product family. So yeah,
Okay, okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So in this course, we are going to totally focus on Azure portal only. In
okay.
AZ-500, we are also going to see what's Sentinel, what's Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So that will be covered in that. So
Okay. So
AZ-104 is
wherein like the KQL queries and everything would be coming into the picture.
SQL queries. No, that's
KQL, the who's to
um,
query language. If you know about
okay.
this,
Okay, KQL.
yes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We'll see about KQL in the backup part, BCDR.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Log analytics workspace. There we'll see what's KQL all about.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for today, I guess that's it. We'll
Tomorrow
continue
onwards
from
must be
tomorrow.
there is a lab, is it?
I'm sorry.
Tomorrow onwards lab also?
Like what lab exactly?
In Azure 104, any lab is there?
Uh, in the exam or
Practical. In
No, he's saying the
practical?
practical
for
prospect.
practice? See, Microsoft officially doesn't provide any labs for this, and that's
Hmm.
the only reason even I'm using my own Azure portal for this. But what you can do is, if you want to have an free account, then absolutely you can start with an Azure fresh free account, where you get $200 free credits for a month. So you can do
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Okay. Okay. All right then. I guess
And
that.
also, you will be guiding with regards to the certification also, right? Because
Yes.
now doing this course, and
Yes.
after that, we should be able to do with the certification
Yes.
also, wherein,
Absolutely, absolutely. See, after the end of the course, like when we
yeah.
complete this AZ 104, I'll guide you how to prepare for the exam. I'll give you some resources, like
Hmm.
guidelines or maybe my pro tips. So yeah, that will be there.
Okay.
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 Okay. Yeah. So
All
we'll
right.
have
So
5 days a week, or like Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday.
Monday to Friday, I guess. That we'll see.
Yeah.
I have other sessions aligned as well, so that we'll talk about it, like how to,
Okay. Okay.
sometimes there can be some times like we might need to connect early or late maybe, but we'll discuss that. I'll discuss that with Sachin, and he'll talk with you about this. But yes, we'll have these sessions fixed for Monday to Friday at 9 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right then. So thank you so much for joining, guys. I hope I'll see you tomorrow as well. So please connect
So if
on
I have
Friday.
to view the recorded ones, will you be sharing it in the chat or like?
Sachin will take care about that.
Okay. Take
Okay.
it. Okay.
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 All right. All right, guys. So let's connect
Invite.
tomorrow at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Please share your WhatsApp number. Okay. Me, I'm not in India right now. I mean outside. Okay.
That will be again, handled by Sachin, because I don't think I'm authorized to share my contact details here. But again,
No
Sachin
problem.
is the single point of contact for you for this.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
contact the consent team.
Okay. So we'll connect at 9 tomorrow, and until then, have a great, day ahead. So yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thanks for joining,
Yeah.
guys. Let's connect tomorrow at 9.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.